Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to the Sensitive Stability BPD live show. Thank you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm your host. My name is Kevin Reynolds. I'm a BPD survivor and a BPD coach. I go live here on TikTok Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. US EST, as well as 11 p.m. US EST, where we talk about a different topic related to borderline personality disorder. This morning, I want to talk about the romantic split. That is BPD splitting within a relationship. Happens most frequently, most common. It is indeed the most likely split that you will see. And that is by design. The relationship is where you are most heavily emotionally invested. So, this is going to be the place where you see the heaviest emotional energy, the heaviest emotional content, the heaviest emotional weight. The relationship is where you will invest the most and sacrifice the most. The relationship is what is determining your value as a person when you have BPD. You have chosen to invest into someone else more than you have invested into your own self. And that is a travesty. And I'll tell you why. It's because you cannot control other people's emotions. For you to decide that they are responsible for your emotion is the most hypocrisy that you could possibly exhibit. But we're not thinking from those definitions. Instead, we're just thinking from the definitions of utility. What can I sacrifice in order to prove to myself that I'm a good partner? What can I sacrifice in order to prove that I'm a good person? What can I sacrifice in order to prove that I'm worth something? Is really what you're saying. It's hard to see that from the surface because in order to get there, you kind of have to walk through the ring of fire of the relationship, which doesn't get you better. You will do the things that you do for everyone around you. You will do the things you do the most for your partner, and you will expect the things in return of which your partner cannot deliver. It's impossible for them to give you the feel good kind of energy that it is that you're looking for. That's not real. We think that they can complete us. We think that they can fill the cannonball size hole that's in the middle of your chest, but they cannot. Your partner is not there for that responsibility. Your partner is somebody that you have chosen, that you claim you want to be with, not somebody that you actually need, somebody that you want to be with. They are a preference. They are someone that you have decided to trade with. You have decided to trade time and energy, to exchange things, to share, to generate happiness together, not to be responsible for how each other feels. Your partner's sick, then you might want to take care of them. Your partner feels down, you might want to make them feel better. Partner's having a tough day, you might do a little extra for them. Your partner's hurting, maybe you give them a back rub. But you cannot be responsible for how they feel about themselves. It is inappropriate. You cannot be responsible for their happiness. That is their responsibility and their responsibility alone. You can make someone laugh, you can make someone smile, you can have a nice time and share a memory with them. You can create experiences, but you absolutely cannot be responsible for your partner's happiness. It is the most inappropriate way to measure your relationship. So and so makes me happy, we say, until they don't. What about when they don't? Then what are you going to say? To say, oh, well, that person makes me happy most of the time. Maybe you will. But you know how rare it is to see someone be that objective in their relationship analysis when shit's hitting the fan? They're not really that objective, are they? All of a sudden, that person that they love so much they hate. All of a sudden, that person that was so good to them is no longer that great to them. That person's the worst. We're off telling everybody all the terrible shit they're doing. We're calling all of our friends and looking for that confirmation bias. We're reaching out to everyone around us and we're trying to push this concept that we're right and they're wrong. Can you believe this person did that? Can you believe they did this? You know the deal. And then, of course, whoever you're talking to is just going to reply and tell you, oh, no, I definitely can't fucking believe they did that. Half the time, your support system, your friends and your family, and all these people who you're calling to get like the confirmation bias from, They're just telling you what you want to hear because they just want it to stop. You heard me right. Half the time, they just want you to shut up. They're sick and tired of you complaining. They're sick and tired of hearing you call and whine about your relationship. They just want desperately for the relationship to end most of the time, you know? I remember calling the same people talking about the same stuff, and they'd say things to me like, well, I remember 6 months ago you were in the same spot. I remember a year ago we were talking about the same thing. And I'm thinking to myself, like, were we though? Because it doesn't feel that way to me. But if I'm being honest and I look back, they're right. I'm wrong. They know what they're talking about, and I don't. It turns out I did indeed call them all the time. I did indeed complain about the same shit, and it was never ending. I didn't stop complaining about all that stuff. I kept going. And why did I keep complaining? Because I thought that complaining had value. I actually thought there was something substantially helpful about complaining. And I thought if I kept complaining, I thought if I kept bitching, that somebody would have an answer for me. But it turned out that all my friends, thanks, guys. Welcome to the show. All of my family, all of my support system didn't actually have an answer for me. And if they did, I wasn't willing to listen. They'd say things like, leave this person. They're not good for you. This is terrible. This is a terrible relationship. It doesn't seem like this is a very good one for you, bud. That was one of my favorite. My father would listen to me complain for like an hour straight sometimes, and then he'd look at me and say, well, this doesn't sound like it's going to work, bud. And I think to myself, like, dude, that's not what I want to hear. That's not what I want to hear. What did I want to hear? Did I even think about that? I guess I just wanted them to pity me, feel bad for me. Thank you, Jill. Tell me how awful I am, right? Or I wanted them to tell me how sorry for me they were. But I definitely didn't want a real answer, such as leave the relationship, find someone else. The splits that I would have of my partners were really on myself. If I thought that they were on the partner, it's only because I was avoiding a truth. It's same with a friend, really. The splits that I were having, they were on me. That's what the splits were the whole time. I just wasn't cognizant, smart enough to see it. Instead, I just imagined that it was always the other person's fault. But it was almost never their fault. It was almost always on me. I was almost always accountable. They might have done some stuff on the surface, but the lesson to be learned, the hurdle to be climbed, the fear to be conquered was always mine. It should never have bothered me so much that these people did these things. Even when I was right and they were wrong and I had good reasons to split or be upset, I should have had more control over how I felt about myself, and I didn't. I did not have control over how I feel about me. I wasn't even able to see the split while it was happening. I truthfully believed whatever words were coming out of my mouth in the moment. I honestly believed that it was 100% other people's fault. The word fault was the wrong word to be focusing on altogether anyway. It turns out that was largely unproductive. Trying to figure out where to pin the tail on the donkey didn't get me anywhere. Didn't get any of us anywhere. It never gets us somewhere. You need to stop focusing so much on who's to blame and start focusing more on the solutions. Start focusing more on the answers. You ever notice how a great deal of our experience, a great deal of our splits in our time, they're spent complaining? You ever notice how much time you're spending complaining? Because it's a shitload. I mean, you're complaining all the time. And I wish I saw it. I wish I had gotten that time back. I don't have any chance in that time back except through you. If I can get you to see yourself during your split, then maybe I've earned a little bit of my time back, if you think about it. Kind of, a little bit. You have to be willing to objectively analyze where you are. You have to be willing to step outside of the shoebox that you're in and realize that maybe you were in a shoebox that was in a giant auditorium, that was in the world. And there are bigger arenas than what you are used to right around you. Those arenas are important because that's where life is. That's where the answers are. That's where happiness lies. That's where your utility matters the most. If you care so much about what you can do for the outside world, well, you're not going to get that much out of caring about your outside world that you think is very tiny. Your utility, your ability to impact the world and make a difference is so much bigger than what you're complaining about. You're whining about this interaction you had this morning with your partner when in reality, that interaction doesn't matter at all. Nobody's going to remember that interaction. 25 years from now, whether you're together or not, it's irrelevant. You won't remember that fight. So what are you really fighting about? What are you really angry about? What they said this morning, what they said last night shouldn't have impacted you to the degree it did. There's a deeper problem here. And that deeper problem is what you're avoiding. And if you were to address it, then you might not keep having the problems that you're having every day. You might not have to deal with this ever again. You might stop splitting. You might start respecting yourself. When you split, you're disrespecting your own future. You're disrespecting yourself. You're changing your own self-image. You become somebody who is largely unreasonable. That's a shame, considering you were always the most capable person in the room. It's not very good when the most capable person in the room is being unreasonable. What problems will get resolved then? Where are the answers then? Who could stand up and make a difference? Well, no one. You've made sure of that. You're too scared to change. You are too scared to address the truth, which is exactly why you split and hid it to begin with. You hid it because you're scared. You see, I was scared of everything. I was scared of all changes. Anything that I had to do that would have improved my life, I was terrified. I didn't want to have to address the reality of my situation, or that maybe I was responsible for this, or maybe I really could have hurt this person's feelings, or maybe there was a better way to look at this situation or that scenario, or maybe this person didn't actually mean me harm. Maybe their intention was opposite. Maybe they meant to help me. I would overlook these kinds of truths. Couldn't handle it. Had to get my affection, my love, from wherever I could. Sometimes that was just from the affection I'd get and the pity when I call somebody and bitch about my relationship. That would be enough. Today, I think to survive, I'll just pick up the phone and dial somebody and call my mother. My mother's always happy to listen to all my grievances. Oh, Kev, so sorry things are so tough for you. A lot of good that does me though, huh? When my mother or my father or my friends, my sister, whoever it may be, tells me that they feel bad for me when I'm in a fight with my partner, it tells me that I've been one manipulative son of a bitch. That's what it tells me. You should never want your partner to lose. You should never want anyone to lose. You should always want everyone to win, and there's always a way to make it happen if you're objective enough. Voodoo Child, welcome to the show. Voodoo Child says, are you in remission? I am. I am in what I consider full remission. It is the elimination of symptom manifestation. There are no symptoms manifesting for 6 months straight. There are no episodes and no splits, and there is no neurotic behavior to contain this type of malfunction. So it is possible. There are no excuses. Morning, Jade. Always good to see you, man. Always good to see you, my friend. It's good to have friends that are positive. Jade's in here positive every single day, and I love that. You are an example for the other people here. Keep it up, man. As a partner during a split like this, I totally missed your question complimenting you. What I will say, as Grace, would you mind, or Vitality or Jenny, would somebody mind repinning the Jade comment? But I am going to remind you all that we are hitting the 1 day mark for the 2-week trial opt-in. If you want to trial our remission program, now is the time to do it. It is an opportunity to just pay a fraction of the cost and experience the first portion of the program, of which you will start getting better. Check it out. It's the first link in our link tree here on TikTok. Jade says, as a partner during a split like this, give space, learned the hard way. I know it's always going to be hard when you're the partner, and it's hard on both sides. It's hard on both sides. Splits are extremely painful. They're extremely painful. And they are painful for everyone. You are paying the price, and giving space is one of the only ways out, because they have to realize on their own. I'd have to realize on my own that it was very difficult for the partner to reach me when I am splitting on them. When I have decided that they are part of my problem, they are the enemy, they are the reason that I am where I am, they are the, issue. That's very difficult. But them stepping back helps me see myself more. I had to see myself on center stage. So you've got the right attitude about it. Stepping back is a smart option. Good morning, Brightside. Welcome back. Always happy to have you here. We're responsible for our own happiness. Indeed, we are. You are responsible for crafting your own happiness, no one else. Caroline, welcome to the show. Welcome back. Relationships are so hard for me, and the split in them is so real. It does feel real. That is worth mentioning. It's not like it's this fake thing. It is very visceral. It's extremely real. Sage says, what's the remission program? Here at Sensitive Stability, we are the home of the BPD remission program. It is a program that I designed based upon my remission journey, designed to help you get to remission in 2 months or less. It's extremely effective. We also have a partner/support program that's very effective and very helpful for the partners out there. But the remission program itself is, it's the quickest way out. I've not seen anything like it on earth. I've been doing it for years, and it's working very well. I've helped over 1,300 of us figure ourselves out, and I would be happy to help you or anyone else in need. Shoot me an email and tell me a little bit about what's going on, or if you want to take advantage of we only have a few slots left. This promotion is an opportunity for you to trial what it's like to sign up for this full program. You do get the benefits of the full program for the first quarter of it, and you pay for the first quarter of it. You don't like it, you don't have to continue, but I'm guessing you're going to continue. You're going to like it. You're going to get better, because the truth is, the second you sign up is the second you start getting better. We start getting to work the second you sign up and you're ready. So click on the link tree in the profile. Stop waiting, because every day that you wait, you're perpetuating your suffering, and you know it. You know it. The day that you decide is the day that it all begins. It's tattooed on my body. Got that tattoo when I was young. Turns out I got all these tattoos that were super introspective and meaningful when I was young, and I had no idea that I would grow into them. But they're very helpful. Reminders of who I am, and who you are. Raquel says, can splits actually stop? Splits can stop. Splits can reverse. You can turn it around. Splits don't have to be a permanent fixture. They can be. They can be permanent. But you could always change. You could always decide something else. You could always change your mind. But nobody's going to change it for you. You're going to have to make the objective decisions yourself that land you in a reversal, right? Good morning, Barb. Welcome to the show. Is chronic bitching a sign or symptom of BPD? Yup. Sure is. I bitched all the time. I bitched nonstop. I was a bitching machine. I mean, pretty much my mouth was just bitching 24/7. All the time, nonstop. And there was almost no way to stop it. Somebody'd say, oh, no, Kevin, you're not so bad. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I am. Let me tell you why. I mean, I was trash talking myself and creating a world that was just unsatisfactory, that nobody would want to live in. And as people tried to convince me to get out of it, or they tried to be positive, they tried to be optimistic, they tried to pick me up, I would just tell them why they're wrong and why they don't understand my suffering. It's because I wanted to suffer. That's why I didn't want to get better back then. Sage says, please tell me that the obsession goes away from the favorite person. Well, you can have a favorite person and it can be healthy, but what makes the favorite, my partner will always captivate my soul, An amazing person will do that. But here's the thing. When you give too much, that makes them feel uncomfortable, it's now unhealthy. When you give too much to where they cannot reciprocate and it is not matched energy, they don't give you back what you're putting in because they can't keep up, you build resentment, it's unhealthy. You see, so your investment into how you feel about yourself cannot be outsourced but so much. There are things about me that I do require input and feedback from the outside world. I would like to know that I am a good facilitator for this program. For that to happen, I need your feedback. When you're done with the remission program, I say, how'd it go? What's it like? Did you have a good time? Was there something I could improve upon? And everybody always says the same thing. They say, well, you're a little direct. Sometimes it was a little harsh. But then they always say, but I needed that. I needed that because nobody was willing to be direct with me. And I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings, I had to go through the same stuff. But, I take the feedback, and if there's something worth changing, I change it. You see what I mean? But you telling me that you don't like me isn't going to make me not like me. If there's some credence to your complaint, then I will try to change it, though, okay? Victoria, welcome to the show. I wish you could talk to my boyfriend. He's still in denial about his BPD. Well, I could talk to you, Victoria, and you would be where we start. So please reach out to me. Victoria, shoot me an email because we start with you. We would start with you. You're what we could put our hands on, and then we move from you into him because there's things that you can do to get him out of denial. There are things that you can say to bring him closer to salvation here. There are ways that you can coax him into getting to a place where he is open to the idea of remission. But that's a careful process. That requires personalization. Please do reach out to me and tell me a little bit about what's going on. I personally respond to all my emails, and I'd love to guide you whatever way I can. Jade says, best thing I learned was to make sure that they are seen, heard, understood, validate the emotions. You could validate them without being inappropriate. You absolutely can. You can validate them without sacrificing too much. You can validate them without crossing the line. Turns out you could validate somebody's emotional state without even agreeing with them. And Vitality reminds us that we do indeed offer payment plans, and the 2-week trial for the remission program is basically that. It's an arrangement where you could pay for the first quarter of it and see how it works for the first 2 weeks. We've never done that before. That's a new thing. But we have a few slots left for that. This is the last day to sign up. There's a link in the link tree here on our profile on TikTok. You just click the profile, click the link tree. It's the first link, and it'll walk you through what you get. But having that plan, having a structure, us setting you up in a place where you might actually succeed, where you have a roadmap, where you know what you need to do, where we get rolling here, the first 2 weeks, you'd be surprised exactly how much different you can get. You would be surprised. I have seen people's entire personality change right before my eyes. Sage says, my worst portion of my BPD are the anger splits. The aggression is where we have a lot of consequences. The aggression is where a lot of the consequence zone manifests, as I call it. That's the heaviest part of the BPD cycle. It's at the bottom. The episodes and the splits are there. And when you're angry, you make decisions you normally wouldn't make. Anger, though, masks pain. It tells us that there's something we don't understand, Sage. There's something that is upsetting us deeper. Because anger is your inappropriate solution to feeling hurt. You feel hurt inside, you feel betrayed, you feel upset, you have a pain, you are suffering. You might cover it up with the aggression. You might cover it up with the anger. And then the split. Well, the split, I'm so upset about what happened that I just can't tolerate another way of thinking. And that's usually how that happens. I have had my fair share of angry splits, and angry I got. In fact, it was the most common split I would have. I would split into isolation or running away or all these other great things that we do, but the anger was my number one go-to, and it would come about out of nowhere. Morning, V. Welcome to the show. Always good to see you, my friend. You're always welcome here. I always give too much, V says. Most people do who have BPD. We give far too much. The ironic part, though, V, is that when you're in remission, you still give a lot. You'll still give. But now you might be giving for the right reasons. Now you might be giving just because it's the right thing to do. That's where the glory is. You want to be somebody who leaves a mark. You want to be somebody who matters. With BPD, you know deep down that you are. You know you have these things deep down. You could feel that there's purpose inside of you. I know you can. I did too. Connecting the dots on that purpose does involve means sacrifice and giving and all this stuff. It means all that. But it means sacrificing and giving simply because you are the right one. Not because you want to be recognized for it. It's the trade of utility for proof that you're good enough. Because if you trade yourself and sacrifice enough, then they might show you that they love you, which you think then makes you worth something. You were always worth something. You were always the one who could change the fate of everyone in the room, who could improve the whole world. That was you. Chloe says, do you have any tips on not having outbursts? I literally have no self-control with it. The outbursts only happen because we haven't handled the long-term triggers. The long-term triggers absolutely need to be resolved. If they aren't resolved, then they will amplify the present daily trigger. So, a good place to start, Chloe, go to the resource center and then look for the emotional tank training tool. I want you to start using this on a regular basis throughout the day, every day. It's a stupid idea to log in and use this program to try to figure out how you feel. But when you start doing it, you realize that you never really classified how you feel truly enough to be able to fix it. You'll start to see that you have the same triggers all the time. And those are the triggers that you focus on. And when you start resolving the root trigger, it doesn't bother you as much anymore, and you don't have as many outbursts. Eventually, none. The Resource Center is a great place for a lot of free help, and that is where you'll find that tool amongst many other tools. I've programmed some things that are in there. There's a comprehensive self-assessment. There's an anecdotal library where you can read a bunch of stories that are related to BPD to try to get a better idea how it impacts you. Your awareness will go up tremendously hanging out in a place like that. Hanging out in the Discord. Download Discord. It's an app on your phone. Type in Sensitive Stability and join our Sensitive Stability Discord and hang out with the moderators here and a bunch of us. It'll be great. You'll get better faster having that peer support. Big thank you to Jenny, Vitality, and Grace, who are awesome at trying to make sure that you're seen and heard and get you pinned. Brightside says, I have bad and borderline. Oh, BAD and borderline. And every time my boyfriend confronts me with anything, I explode. Yeah, I know. I get it. And why wouldn't you? I mean, this stuff hasn't been resolved. These things bother you. These things matter. These things are still triggers. These things still impact you. When we're hypersensitive and we don't know how to use the superpower, everything bothers you. And everything bothers you in a hypersensitive way. If I have a problem with disrespect and you have even slightly remotely shown me a sign of disrespect, I am going to lose my shit. That's how it works. And that's how it stays until you get disrespect under control. There aren't that many triggers though, guys. There aren't that many. You can handle it. You can get it done, but do it one at a time. Let's focus on the worst thing first and then work our way down. And remember, indeed, like Jenny says, no matter where you are in the world, there are answers. There are places you can go. This live is available to you everywhere. We go live 7 a.m. US EST and again 11 p.m. US EST Monday through Friday. We post them all on YouTube. We post them all on Spotify. We have a community Discord. I take people from all over the world. I can help you no matter where you are. 20% of the people I work with are in Australia. Big shout out to Australia. I love Australia. You know, I've always been a night owl, so it really is, I like talking to you guys in the middle of the night. Emmy says, I went on a holiday alone with my parents, and they tried to manipulate my brain again. Yeah, well, everybody around you is always trying to manipulate you to get the whatever it is that they want out of you. Heaven forbid that somebody actually sacrificed their own, idea of your future and let you just make your own decisions. But the more that you are cognizant, the more that you pay attention, the more that you might realize that everybody is pretty damn selfish. A lot of people are very much so out to benefit just them. That's where they are. So I look at people's advice with a grain of salt, and I never take advice from somebody who isn't in a position that I envy or that I have respect for. Respect's a better word than envy there, because it's really what I mean. Meaning, if you're telling me what I should do with my life and I look at yours and I don't see some value in where you are, then I don't take that advice anymore, But if I have the respect for where you are, I might listen a little bit. I might take some of that advice. If your parents are in a place where you might want to be someday, then you might want to listen to them. My parents wanted me to become an auto mechanic or something like that. Do I look like an auto mechanic? I mean, honestly. Then they wanted me to become an accountant. Do I look like an accountant? Do I? Strangely, I have a degree in accounting. I have a bunch of degrees that I don't use, but that's because I like school. V says, I have a problem with lying and disrespect and people not reacting the way I want them to. Oh my God. I know. I feel ya. But here's the deal. Did you really think that everybody would react the way that you wanted? Going into it is the problem. You see, it's not the aftermath where I'm like, oh man, this person disrespected me. I can't believe they said this. Did you actually go into that session, hanging out with those people, go into that party, go into that event? Did you actually go and think that there just won't be any side effects, that everything's just going to go well? I mean, it's basically almost never the case. There's almost always something somebody says that pisses me off, It happens all the time. I mean, I see things that piss me off on a daily basis. I just have to choose how I respond to it. I say, well, I expect things to piss me off. I expect things, to not go my way. I expect other people to have different opinions. And by the way, V, delusional is a good thing. Everybody calls you delusional until you're successful or until you crack the code, and then all of a sudden you're a creative genius, and they're like, oh man, that was so great. Look at you. So proud of you. But you were crazy beforehand, right? Perry says, I have quiet BPD. What is the best option? Do you think DBT, MBT, mentalization-based therapy? I did both. Greetings from Norway. Hello, welcome. Welcome to the show, Norway. So that must be like 6 to 7 or 8 hours ahead. Probably 6 to 7 hours ahead of EST, US EST. So for you, it's like afternoon. Well, hopefully it's a nice, bright, sunny afternoon, Perry. Quiet BPD, you internalize everything. I don't particularly think that there's a benefit to one therapy model over another, depending upon whether you have quiet BPD or it's more extroverted. I tried all of those, and the two that you mentioned, and unfortunately I wasn't having much success with those. It's why I do what I do now. I coach for the condition because I couldn't find an answer. I figured maybe I could be the person for you that wasn't there for me, and I do a pretty good job of it. What I teach is called IES, Interventive Emotional Skills. It is the system that I developed to help other people learn the perspective changes necessary to get better. It turns out that perspective changes is the real answer. It's not so much about 134. Okay. 6 hours ahead. Not bad. Yeah. Well, it turns out it's not about skills. It turns out it's about permanent perspective changes, adopting new ideologies as to how you look at the world, Perry. So you no longer look at disrespect the same way. You no longer look at being compared to someone else the same way. You no longer look at the rest of the world and expect them to fill how you feel about yourself. You change your perspective, and then you change your long-term outcome. and the long-term output and the daily output. Now you're no longer experiencing life every day in total misery. Instead, you expect a little misery. But that does make it better, and it does give you control, and then you are able to have happier times. And I don't mean that's like the number one perspective change, expect misery. It's just kind of a joke that I threw in there. But I do expect there to be bad times, and because of that, I'm not shocked, you see? And then I perform better, and I have a better experience. V says, I have a problem with lying and disrespect and people not reacting the way that I want them to. Yeah, we did this one. But the lying part, I don't think we covered that. And the dishonesty and the lying, are they really lying or not? Sometimes I think we take that a little far. We think that people are lying to us. You know, they say surface level things like, I'll never leave you. Well, obviously, you're a liar because you could totally leave me. There are worlds where you may leave me. And, you know, I've seen people leave me, and I see people leave us, and they all promised. They all promised that they wouldn't. So the words don't matter so much. The words aren't as important as we think they are. You think that you want words to validate you and your relationship, but that's not going to validate you. Long term, you don't benefit that much from them saying, I promise I'll stay, I'll never leave. You benefit more from becoming someone who's so attractive that they don't want to leave. Morning, sissy. Welcome to the show. No wonder I can't find my identity. It's like you misplaced it a little bit. You didn't misplace it. The world misplaced it for you. You started out knowing that you were powerful, capable. When you were a young child, you could do anything. Nothing would stand in your way of success. There are little kids who can do a million things better than me, and it's because their brain hasn't gotten in the way yet. The people in their life haven't knocked them around enough. They haven't gotten beaten up enough. You know? They still believe they can do it, and thus they can. But somewhere, as you're moving through life, enough of society, enough of the bullshit around you has beaten you down into a place where you actually are a victim and you don't think you can do it. That mentality is what keeps you trapped. Sissy says, imagine my mom called me, My mom called me an attention grabbing fill in the blank yesterday, and I'm 51. So we'll go out here in the objective limb, sissy, and I'm going to start by saying this very surprising statement. Is there any truth to that? Are you seeking attention? Age doesn't matter. My oldest client was 84. And it doesn't mean that you're all bad or all immature or all broken just because maybe you didn't handle this or didn't handle that and you happen to be this or that age, you know? But seriously, I was seeking attention most of the time. Why? We don't like that term because it seems like it just has this negative connotation. But what does that mean? It would mean that I want affection because attention turns into affection. Affection turns into love. Love might prove to me that I'm worth something. Maybe that's all you want, to feel worth something. And you were hoping that mom could give it to you, but she might not be able to. But please do reach out to me because I might be able to offer you something better, something a little more permanent, more sustainable. Emmy says, yesterday I split and my partner tried to help me and asked what I need, but I didn't know. That's because you probably don't know, Emmy. That's because you probably don't know. You see, all the times that I split, all the times I had episodes, all the times that I was acting like a fool or a child or throwing my adult temper tantrums, if you would have stopped me and said to me, Kevin, what do you actually want? I wouldn't have known what the hell to say. I didn't know what I wanted because I didn't spend any time analyzing what I wanted. You see what I mean? I just spent time bitching and whining and complaining about the things I didn't have and the things I didn't get and the things I thought people owed me. I never focused on what I actually wanted. Nellie says, so I can't ever validate them enough. Well, you'll never be able to validate somebody who has BPD enough to fill that hole in their chest. You're not going to be able to do that. That is for them to fill, not you. That is their responsibility, not yours. Now, does that mean something? Is that important? Is that a, you could validate somebody's emotional state without inappropriately validating them and keeping them trapped. I could feel terrible for how you feel. You know, it's like some people ask some questions in here and I'm like, hey, maybe you are being a whiny complainer here. Maybe you are. But hang on a second here. Wouldn't anybody in your scenario, you see what I mean? That does validate them, and they should be validated because their experience is real. But how you look at it, the perspective that you take in order to get out of it and change things, that matters. Chloe says, how do I put my wall down and allow myself to start trusting someone? I guess they'd have to earn the trust. I think trust is earned, and I think it's totally appropriate to distrust until somebody has proven themselves. The degree of which you trust or distrust matters. You could trust somebody and still respect them. You could trust somebody and disrespect them. You know, you can disrespect somebody and not trust them. They can disrespect you and you not trust them. They could disrespect you and you trust them. Do you trust the store clerk with your credit card if they say, I need to run to the bathroom real quick with your card? Probably not. Probably not. But you trust them enough to run your card to buy your groceries, right? There's degrees of trust. That's okay. And earning it, that's reasonable. Princess says, oh, I need to talk to this guy. Oh, me? Oh, cool. I'm honored. Yeah, you talk to me. You shoot me an email and tell me what's up, Princess. Tell me what you're going through. And I'll help you whatever way that I can. Okay? And yes, taking the credit card to the bathroom would be very suspicious for a store clerk, would it not? You wouldn't trust him with that, you know, but you trust your partner with more sensitive details than you would the grocery store clerk. Different people get different levels of trust because they deserve different levels of trust. They earn different levels of trust. They need different levels of trust. Emmy says, my parents are always mad about me being disrespectful. Boop. Wish they could just see. I need some of... I hate this whole, like, arrow. Why do this arrow thing? I mean, it's like you got so much extra pixels on here. You know, you really need me to push this tiny little bullshit arrow? Like, you know that I'm, like, an old person now, right? Second you're, like, 30, you can't see shit. You might not see it, but they may see your perspective. They may know how you feel. They may know that kind of stuff and not be able to change their demeanor, their behavior, or how they're treating you. We often forget that our parents are actually older than us, so they have all this incredible wisdom that we overlook. We're so concerned with them trampling on our experience. You know what I'm saying? We're worried about them trampling on our experience more than we're worried about extracting the wisdom and the lessons that they have to offer. Understanding that there is benefit to the wisdom of your elders is a huge facet. It's a huge facet in moving through life in a more pleasant way. One that matters more. Have a good day. You can't live your life to the fullest if you're not willing to take all the variables and manipulate them in a way that is full. If you're going to move through life and you are going to hide from some of the truth, if you are going to hide from some of the variables, if you're going to ignore some of the advantages, then you won't live a full life. You'll live a subpar life filled with subpar experiences, and you will find yourself complaining. You'll find yourself feeling betrayed. You'll find yourself feeling frustrated. But the truth is, the answers are right before you. There are people who want to help. There are people paving the path. There is wisdom and your elders and the other people who have walked the paths before you. If you wanted to get into real estate, you might serve yourself well to pick up a real estate book. Maybe somebody who's been in the industry for 30 years, catch up, see what they can tell you, get an entire few decades crammed into a 30 to 45-minute reading session for a week. Probably worth it, right? Chloe says, does anyone else literally talk their mind into thinking something negative? Oh, almost all of us probably. Almost all of us are constantly hating on ourselves. But it's like I always say, well, it's like Bruce Lee always said, never speak negatively about yourself. Words are energy. They are magic. They cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. You don't talk even negatively about yourself as a joke to the best of your ability. I violate this rule once in a while, okay? I do. Every once in a while, I'm like, Kevin, you big dumb idiot. It does make me laugh. I am okay with that. But I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to be. So I violate the rule a little bit, but it's all right. It's okay. I do have 2 books on Amazon, of which are extremely helpful in getting better. They are very reasonably priced, as Vitality reminds us. The first is 21 Golden Rules for Conquering BPD. It's a very easy book, very easy read. All the rules are about 1 to 2 pages. They don't take that long to understand. They're very simple. You follow the rules, you will get better. It's pretty much that easy. And there is a digital copy, so you can get it right now. There's no excuse. The second, 21 Golden Rules for BPD Relationships. So whether you're a support system or someone with BPD and you are in a relationship and you would like to see your relationship improving, check the book out. Same deal. Rules are very easy, very simple to read. Not a big deal. You follow these things, you will get better. And if you really want to move fast, if you're really serious, then our BPD remission program is for you. This is the quickest way. The program is designed to get you to full remission in 2 months or less. It is very effective. I work with people all over the world, but I can only work with a limited number of us. Currently, we have a promotion that allows you to trial the first 2 weeks for the price of the first 2 weeks. So you don't have to cave and buy the entire program. You could just sign up for the first 2 weeks and see the magic in action. You would be surprised what we can do in 2 weeks. You really do start getting better right away. If you are actually ready and you have a will to change, then now is the time. Click my profile, click the link tree, stop creating excuses, click the first link, and sign up for the 2-week trial. You'll be glad you did. Porcupine, welcome to the show. I'm so confused. I feel hard. Don't split. Was crazy, wild, hate, pity. Don't rage, no trauma, and past bad SH, which, creating some physical pain for ourselves. There's all types of BPD out there. There's all types of trauma. There's all types of trauma responses. Do you have to have BPD to identify with some of the traits? No. I mean, is the label really all that important, or should we be more focused on the benefits of improving? Is it important to you that you have borderline personality disorder, or is it important that you just fix the problems that you have? Because the problems are what are holding us back from behaving. You could fix it if you so want to. What's bothering you and what's creating an issue. If you want a good place to start and you're not sure if you have BPD, I want to remind you that we have a comprehensive self-assessment. As Vitality reminds us, click the link tree, click the resource center, and you're looking for the comprehensive self-assessment. It's entirely free. If you take the time to do the test, take a screenshot and shoot me an email, pop the results in there, and just say hi, introduce yourself, Just say hi if you don't know what to say, and I'll know what to say to you. You deserve a way out. Nobody here should have to suffer, and it's about changing the behaviors. The truth is, this live, our community, the things that we do, our programs would benefit anybody who wants to improve. And it's not just for BPD people. If you show up here and you hang out every day, your life's going to go better. It's going to be a whole hell of a lot happier. There's a reason we do these lives in the morning and at the end of the day. It's because I want you to wake up and have a positive attitude going into your day, and I want you to go to sleep with all the emotional content drained and have a nice, peaceful way to recharge for the next day. It's not by mistake, because I could do them in the middle of the day. It'd be kind of weird, though. Weird timing. Emmy says, I tend to be in my head more than outside of it, and it's ruining my relationships. Yeah, that's a good point. You tend to be in your head than outside. Maybe you need more outside influence, more outside distraction, more outside worth, hobbies, friends. That social circle might matter. Your relationships with your family matters. The job, the career, your educational pathway, what you're interested in, how you spend your time, where you're going, what your purpose is. You don't need all these things, health and workout and all that. But you damn sure need some of them, and you damn sure need more than one of them. So the relationship cannot be all. That is not the only thing that completes you as a person, right? You are a composite material. You are put together with many things. You know, imagine if we were just one blob of skin. That'd be pretty dumb. We have eyeballs and a nose and mouth and beards and facial hair and all sorts of stuff that make us a person. And thus you have so many pieces of you that make you a personality. I keep self-sabotaging and I feel like I can't control it, Vicious says. Well, you self-sabotage because you believe that you deserve to feel worthless. You believe you deserve to feel like a loser. You believe you deserve failure. You believe these things about yourself, or you wouldn't sabotage yourself to create the confirmation bias that you indeed deserve suffering. Most of us believe that we deserve suffering. We push for it almost. And if you believe, like I do, that BPD is a superpower in disguise, I want you to check out our merch line, BPD Nation. You can find a link in the link tree here on TikTok. There's a lot of really cool designs, attire designs. Designed the shirts myself. They are hilarious. They are super funny. But it's about BPD pride, because I think that BPD is indeed a superpower. I don't think that it's a curse. I don't believe that for 1 second. I think if you have this, I think you were meant to have this. I think it was something that it was designed for you. BPD was designed to help you cope, survive. It was strategy. Brilliant brain work happened in the background without you even noticing it. And instead of highlighting the benefits of having BPD, we highlight the curses. We highlight the deficits. We make it seem like it's the worst thing that ever happened to us, when in fact it was the best thing that ever happened to you. You are a superhero and you don't even know it. Welcome back, Star. Always welcome here. Glad to see you this morning. Star says, I was neglected, a neglected child, so I learned to be my own friend. That's sad reality. Sad reality. Not many people in the world understand the level of friendship or commitment or loyalty or sacrifice or care or love or passion that we provide as BPD people, and thus it's a very lonely journey for most of us. Only 1.7% of the global population has BPD. It's very painful. It's very lonely. You don't feel like you have anybody. There are very few people who feel like they understand you or your experience. So let's stop expecting the neurotypical population to validate us, because they just simply can't. It's impossible. Emmy says, mine said my emotions were fake. I'm guessing you're talking about your parents maybe, right? Mine said my emotions were fake and invalid. You know, my parents basically said the same thing too, not on purpose, you know, not on purpose. I don't believe that the parents are doing this on purpose. I think they're all doing the best that they can. Everybody's doing the best that they can at the time that they're doing it. Parents, you, everyone, your friends, everybody. The person that betrayed you, that partner that sucked, that perpetrator that violated you. Ironically, they're all doing the best that they could at the time. And if anybody had the cognizant awareness to be able to push a different button and do something else, most of the time they would have. That's just the case. You waste a lot of time being upset about things that are out of your control, being upset about things that are, you know, out of the scope of things that you could have done something about. You carry the past into the future, and then you make the future the past. We wonder why everything's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but would you honestly expect anything else based on how you look at the world, based on your perspective and your behavior? Would you? I don't know why I was complaining so much. I was creating a world and curating an environment that was perpetually bolstering my negative experience. I was complaining that I was getting stabbed in the back, and the whole time I was doing stuff that was promoting betrayal. I was trusting the wrong people, investing into the wrong places. I was sacrificing in areas when I couldn't afford to sacrifice into. And then I'd complain about getting used. I'd complain about getting taken advantage of. I'd complain about getting left. But I'm the one that did these things. I decided to commit. I decided to risk. I stepped out on the limb. I did these things. And then I bitched about them later as if it was someone else who's responsible for my decision-making process. Please do invite your partner and your support system to join the lives. As Jenny says, the lives are not just for people with BPD. They're for anybody who suffers from this at all in any sense of it. It's also for anyone who just wants to improve their life. You know, this isn't just BPD exclusive. I'll work with anybody who wants to get better. I will work with you. If you want to reach out to me and you think that I can help you in some way, please do. I don't just work with borderline personality disorder. I've worked with all of it. I've worked with all the clusters. I've worked with schizophrenics, schizoaffective, bipolar, OCD, ADHD, autism, narcissistic personality disorder, all of it. Anger issues, anxiety issues, agoraphobia. I was a relationship coach for about a decade before I became a BPD coach. I was quite good at that too. You kind of have to be if you're a BPD coach, because relationships are at the crux of a lot of our issues. It's the love that gets us the most. Vitality reminds us that all of this work can help anyone in any relationship. It is true. It is true. I say 21 golden rules for BPD relationships, but I mean, if you follow any of these rules at all in any relationship, your relationship's going to be better. Anna says, is there a specific thing that is always a 100% tell for BPD? Well, I guess if I had to pick something, I'd say immense fear of abandonment. But the problem is we hide the symptoms. That's why you're asking for a tell. It's because it can hide. But there's all types of ways it manifests. Maybe they are giving too much and it seems like they're over the top. They're doing it because they're trading utility for worth. They're sacrificing too much. They don't have emotional permanence. They start to freak out when you're not around. Small things bother them. It goes through a filter, and you say something that's a compliment, and they take it as an insult. There's a lot of tells. There is a comprehensive self-assessment in the Resource Center, and there's a terminology index and a lexicon that allows you to help identify BPD. Some anecdotal stories. Check that out. The Resource Center's filled with a bunch of free stuff. You could get there from the link tree on our profile here on TikTok, or you could just go to sensitivestability.com and click the Resource Center. And please do shoot me an email and tell me what's going on, Anna, and I'll walk you through whatever I can. This will be the last comment that we can hit this morning, being at the end of our show. Emmy says, the past is like a pack bag full of rocks I got to carry everywhere. I know, it feels like you're going uphill. It's a very snowy hill, trying to climb this mountain. Sup, bro? And you're carrying this giant sack, all the weight of yesterday. You're carrying it every day. The only time you get a break is when you go to sleep. You drop your sack and you start your fire. You get some rest, and then you wake up. You pick the sack back up, and you keep climbing. It's miserable. It's tough, and it is lonely. But I want to remind you that you are not alone. We go live here on TikTok Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. US EST, as well as 11 p.m. US EST. And if we missed your questions, it's not intentional. Our moderators are doing their best. They have to put up with me, of course. I fall into these rabbit holes where, they probably want me to answer this question in like 30 seconds so they can hit the rest of them. And, of course, I'm answering it like 2, 3, 4 minutes. It's not on purpose, okay? It's not on purpose. What I will say, though, is that I try to answer them thoroughly. We do care. If we miss it, it's not because we're intentionally overlooking you. Show up again tonight at 11. Show up tomorrow at 7 in the morning. Send us an email. Send us a DM. Tell us your story. Explain what's going on. Don't be shy. You don't know what to say. Just say hi. I will know what to say to you. Everybody here is here for a reason. It's not an accident. I know that the suffering sucks. I know that you feel alone. I know you don't know what to do, but there's lots of love here. Join our Discord. Don't stop here. The conversation continues after the live. There's a link in the link tree, or you can just download Discord and search Sensitive Stability. You don't have to suffer by yourself, okay? There are people that care. I care. I'd like to hear from you. I'll give you whatever advice I can. Stop believing that there's no way out. Stop telling yourself that you can't improve. Stop telling yourself that you can't get better. Stop feeding yourself all the bullshit lies that keep you trapped in the same space. You want to have a different day today? Take control of the day. Start telling yourself, I can do it. I can be positive. Things can look good for me. And I could have a bigger impact on my future than maybe I thought. I believe in you. Now it's time you believe in yourself. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you tonight, 11 p.m. US EST.